right, my nigga. What are you?
Y'all haven't seen.
Hold on. No. What are you talking about? You just threw that in there. You just threw an extra. We were on a streak. We were on a streak. I'm not going to allow that streak to end off niggas like just not locking in. I'm sorry. We had too good of a run tonight. We did. We had way too good of a run. Way too good of a run to let it end like that. Can't have it happen like that, my boy. Just can't do it. Chat. It is time. Logic song is bad. That's cool. Leon did his thing. Clips did their thing. Plus Pharrell. Who else did their thing? Lucky did his thing. 3 out of 5 ain't bad. 3 out of 5 ain't bad. Minus Big Sean. Minus Big Sean. Hold on. Let me load up the game. Let me load up the game. Let me load up the game. Let me load up the game.
Black Boy Max album?
Probably not tonight. It depends if I stream tomorrow, though. If I don't stream tomorrow, then I don't know. That's tough. I will listen to Sean. Bro, that shit really popping into my ears like OD. Like, what's wrong with y'all? Oh, fuck. I forgot to put my volume back up, chat. I can no longer hear the game. Wait. Why can't I hear the game? Oh, I got it muted. Stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. How bad is the milkman situation? What do you mean? What are we gonna do with all these is this it?
A while back now, I appeared on the Waving the Red Flag podcast. Shout out to them. And we had a little laugh, a little jokey joke about the fact that you can often tell whether or not a black man prefers white women by the way he cuts his hair. And niggas was mad. They was really upset about this. Even today, you go to the comment section of that video, and that's one of the most.
He said natural hairlines?
Really upset about this. Even today.
Over pushed back line. I don't even know what. I've never heard a man say natural hairline in my life.
You go to the comment section of that video, and that's one of the most watched videos on their channel, and you'll see folks in the comment section copping pleas and getting really mad about, oh, these jokes are anti-miscegenation and black separatism and it's, you know, I'm sorry. I understand if you look at my hairline right now, especially I'm a good month past due for a retwist. It may seem like a joke I shouldn't be able to make, but that's probably because you don't really understand the joke, or the joke might have been about you. And it doesn't matter.
Nah, you do got the milkman now that I'm looking at it. I'll be seeing hella niggas with dreads that are exactly his length that have white women on their side. And like I said, it's not wrong if that's what you want to get. You know what I'm saying? Like I just have a problem with the whole exclusive shit. I feel like your entire dating life shouldn't revolve around one group, but that's just my personal opinion. You know what I mean?
I made a whole darn near 90-minute video explaining my position on interracial.
And he's not wrong. Oftentimes, people that have, you know, that interracial preference that strictly go for that one group have a certain look. And typically, it can be influenced by what the woman may like to see them in. So I'm not saying nothing about nothing. I'm just saying something about that. That's all I'm saying.
Dating, and motherfuckers would rather not watch that and just keep whatever preconceived notions they have, and that's okay. I'll be fine. However, recent events have made me want to again spin the block on this topic, which has always been amusing and interesting, and to be honest, revealing on how race works. And it just so happens that it involves sports. Yes, that's right. It's another sports video. I tricked y'all again. Finish watching.
And that's how he got y'all? Couldn't be me.
This is Robert Griffin III, and before we go any further, I just want to show the type of hair that he has had over the course of his public career. Look at this shit.
Okay. Here's the thing though, right? This is where we're going to run into a problem. Because we're going to say LMAO and XYZ. You know what? Nah. Cause see, we say the same thing about black women when they have certain styles, when they leave the house in certain ways. You can see what friend group they generally have or who they generally date to. I mean, it is what it is. It's just bad looks. It's just bad looks. I understand it. I get what you're saying.
This man is a multi-millionaire, okay? This is how he's looked even after he was in the NFL. But I'll come back to this in a second. RG3 has been made fun of by black people for years, not just for his haircut, not just for being a draft bust, which to his credit is due more to injury than poor play, but mostly for being every stereotype you can make about a black man who prefers white women, again, down to the hair. If I ever come off hostile toward black men who prefer white women, I won't gaslight you. That's genuine hostility. But it's not because I think it's bad to date outside your race. I personally prefer black women and have never dated outside my race, but I'm not beyond appreciating white women like many a nerd. I had a Topanga phase as a young man. I remember when Jessica Biel decided she wanted to break away from the conservative image she had by posing half naked in a men's magazine back in 2000 when she was 17.
See, this is my thing though. I'm not even saying that this is what he's saying, but oftentimes the issue when it comes to people who claim to not have an issue with interracial dating, they limit it to what they deem to be acceptable for you to be attracted to. So if you say, I fuck with white girls, but only the ones that look like Margot Robbie, you might get a thumbs up from someone who says something like, yeah, I don't got a problem with people that date outside their race, but I look at them a bit of a way. It has to be like accepted socially. If the white woman or white man that you choose, if you're a black person, isn't the standard or what they think is like acceptable levels of attractiveness, then you still on the bottom of that totem pole, I will believe. And I've seen that happen before.
This is from when she was 17. I was 18 at the time, so it was okay, but I'm just saying, this is some wild shit. And like many men watching Rhea Ripley slam and then mount a woman while staring deep into your eyes, that
Yeah, y'all lost me. Where do you even find this?
brings up some feelings I can't adequately.
Like, no, even it. Like, this is a great archetype, but at the end of the day, I'm seeing Marilyn Manson, and it's not because she's masculine or anything like that. It's because of the makeup. I don't. This is like that's foreign to me personally. You get what I'm saying? But I fuck with the energy. You get me?
Describe that I have toward white women with dark hair and tattoos.
I fuck with the aesthetic though.
But I want to repeat, there's nothing wrong with anyone dating outside their race in general. But as I explained in Swirl Economics, when it comes to black people, including some black women, dating outside your race has a tendency to be an indicator on.
You don't get it? No, I do get it. Don't get me wrong. I would love to be tossed around by a 6'8" bodybuilder type of girl, but like that's almost impossible. At the end of the day, I can appreciate, you know what I'm saying, the love for what you're seeing, but in that moment, I can't not see Marilyn Manson.
How you view blackness and engage with black people. And for a lot of black folks, specifically black men who do date outside their race at twice the rate as black women, this has time and time again been a telltale sign that there are some coded activities happening behind the scenes, and few people illustrate this better than RG3. The thing that I noticed that many black men who are with white women who have sense will also tell you is that so many black men, and again, yes, some black women, see the fact that they have been chosen by a white person as a badge of honor, as some type of accolade or proof of their innate value as a person, or to be blunt, in their minds, it puts them above other black people who are not with a white person or any non-black person.
Now, again, I don't see this archetype of individual unless I go out and seek it. Only way I would be able to find this individual is if I had like a Hodge Twins video in 2025 turned on. Otherwise, I don't see people grifting for white approval to that extent in my real everyday life. But I know they exist. I just feel like they're few and far between to a point where I actually have to go out of my way to interact with them. You get what I'm saying?
And this is indicative of a lot of anti-black attitudes or arguments.
But I know they're out there. I just don't be hearing them like that. You know?
There's often this innate desire, and this happens a lot with black men, to not just be with their white girl and be happy about it, but to champion this as if they won some type of award, and more conspicuously, to constantly use this as a cudgel to attack black women with. Also with guys like RG3, he tends to land on any issue regarding race much further apart from the rest of black people, and he fetishizes his white wife publicly in gross and cringy ways. He has been called out on this numerous times, where no one will literally be thinking about him or talking about him, and he will find a way to get people to pay attention to the fact that his wife is white in cringe and gross ways. And the reason why this comes up is a response that he had to an overblown controversy regarding Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, two rising stars in the WNBA, after Clark hard fouled Reese at a game recently, and Reese reacted the exact same way that many basketball players have reacted under the circumstance.
This is true in that the reaction was probably, I wouldn't say like over the top or abnormal, but the insults that I saw that were being thrown for this is just like, bro, come on. It's a regular game. If this were anyone else, you would probably overlook it. You wouldn't care that crazily. It wouldn't be controversial. It wouldn't be an issue. This happens in the NBA all the time. We see a clip, we stop talking about it the next day. For whatever reason, this was like, OD, let's hop on Angel Reese dick. And I understand. I don't think she's an amazing player, but it's plenty of non-amazing players in the NBA and in the WNBA. Why are we making a big deal out of Caitlin, out of Angel Reese? It makes me feel more like what are we doing? Like, what are you talking about, bro? I see people say the most insane things about this girl, and for what? If it was as simple or as easy as just being a bad player, no one would be that passionate about their disdain.
For years now, ever since Angel Reese mocked...
Also, that Caitlin Clark foul wasn't even that crazy.
Caitlin Clark...
The fact that there are any divisive opinions to that strong of a degree is insane to me.
In the NCAA Women's Championship, she has been targeted as a villain for misogynists and racists alike, including some black men. Many in the media, like RG3, have shown their willingness to publicly attack her for doing normal shit that an athlete or a woman might do, like dressing sexy, being confident or competitive. With Reese, it's never just about her game, although I'm told, I don't watch the WNBA, so like bear with me, but I'm told she does have some improvement.
Didn't you say you trust the Ant more than Shay? Yeah, I find one to be significantly more entertaining to watch. But that don't mean I think one is more talented than the other. I mean, obviously, if you're going to ask me who's more effective, I'm going to say Shay, but that wasn't the question.
She needs to make on her game. But as I've said before, you always have to be careful about criticizing women, especially black women in public, because the criticism and attacking and hatred of black women is basically its own genre of entertainment at this point. It's not just the gross mountain of red pill stuff. We've seen red pill ideology mutate and seep its way into regular sensibilities, or as I said on a Twitch replay on my FD Streams channel, the thing you have to recognize is that
what the fuck is this?
Red pill ideology isn't so far away from the way regular people think about women as we would like to believe, which is why it's so easy to spread and take so much to stop. And thus, black women in the public eye, like an Angel Reese, but also Doechii, Meg Thee Stallion, Sha'Carri Richardson, Simone Biles, and so on, they're constantly under attack for a variety of made-up reasons.
And the thing to me that, like, some people see those versions of anti-blackness against women specifically that manifest in their version of extreme ways, or sometimes not so extreme ways that I don't typically see, and then I see it manifest in like ways that I feel like it's just completely uncalled for, like some level of passion being given to someone that you normally would have a very monotonous explanation in your tone and explaining what you feel about them is like amplified to the utmost degree, as if they did something personally to these people. That's why when I saw the Aiden Ross clip of him talking about Doechii and saying like, oh, this bitch, this, that, and the third, I'm like, what? Why do you feel so strongly about this? There was another video I saw of people being asked what their opinion about Angel Reese was at a game. Ghetto, bitch, untalented. It's like, why do you feel so strongly to this degree? She ain't even been out long enough for you to have enough of an opinion. The WNBA isn't even visible to that extent for the average person to have that deep of an opinion about it to that extent. It's crazy. I could see somebody casually saying that about Chris Paul, Jason Tatum, you know what I'm saying? People that we've had years with in terms of watching them play the game at like a high level, at a very, very visible level, at a super huge marketing level. But this, y'all just found out about Angel Reese like a couple months ago.
that basically boiled down to misogynoir and a hatred of black women. And knowingly or unknowingly, when RG3 decided to throw his hat in the ring on this recent incident and tweet out something about Angel Reese, he stoked more flames and fire in a very irresponsible way.
And I don't even know what he said. What he said might make me more upset.
To be fair to him, it's not the worst thing that's been said about Angel Reese since she became a public figure, but coming from him in particular, knowing his particular history, a lot of people got upset and got on his ass for it. And you know, I appreciate a good beatdown for some motherfuckers every once in a while. I do hope that people remember and recognize just how many black men have come to Angel's defense, although there have been some black men that treat her poorly in the past. Like, please recognize that people, most notably for this conversation, Ryan Clark, who's emerged as a pretty solid voice for sensible black masculinity, came out and really like I won't say he read RG3. Well, he did. From a like straight black man standpoint, you understand that this from Ryan Clark was very much a read on RG3 and his weirdo white fetishism that he's been doing for years. Did Ryan Clark have to bring up RG3's wife? Not necessarily, but does it make sense to point out that RG3 and his white fetishism indicates that he's going to be the exact type of dude to not understand what Angel Reese is dealing with and why he shouldn't contribute to it? I think that's a very solid point. And I think it's bullshit that RG3, again, a man who has constantly fetishized his own wife in public without provocation, tries to play the don't bring families into it role in this situation to deflect from the fact that he had an awful take that he was being called out for. This type of behavior is typical of a certain type of black man who make the fact.
I wonder what the provocation would need to be for you to fetishize your white wife for her whiteness. Is it somebody else coming in to show their white wife who's whiter than your white wife, technically? I wonder what the conversation like that would be. Do you have that argument with an Irish man or something like that? I really don't know.
That they don't date black women.
I pay to see it, though.
Women have their personality. You see it a lot in the manosphere today with figures like Fresh and Fit. Someone like Kanye West has never been very specific about his hatred toward black women, but it's easy to read between the lines. And on the black woman side of things, you have people like Candace Owens, who clearly has a hard-on for denigrating black men who don't fit a certain image to her. Or going back to the sports world, you have women like Sage Steele, who actively came to RG3's defense, unsurprisingly, to defend him from attacking a black person in general. This is what are here for. This is, again, not everyone with a white or non-black spouse or even with a bad haircut. But it is some motherfuckers, maybe even too many, maybe even the majority. I don't know, I won't say that, because it's also important to keep in mind that for men like RG3, as I said in the Social Economics video, there is a hyper focus on them because they play into black stereotypes for attention, and you end up seeing them and their bullshit more than you see anything else, and it becomes emblematic of the whole when maybe it's not. This is why there's some people who genuinely think that black men as a whole date outside their race more than they date black women, which statistically isn't even close. Again, I talked about this in Social Economics. I don't want to get back into it, but I just want to make sure that's clear. But to explain the joke of that original video about the I like white women haircut, these folks, male and female, tend to look a certain way. They tend to have a certain appearance, and that appearance, interestingly, I think is connected to a specific type of experience that we haven't talked enough about in terms of like, how does a come into being? And I bring this up because as a sociologist, the same way I try to break down interpersonal and micro issues into macro understanding, that should still also be happening with as annoying as they are.
Pandering to people who have historically decriminalized or discriminated against you, the detriment of your people is just another form of impact of racism. Yeah, 100%. But the thing is like you can't say that to someone who thinks that they have their own autonomy and they are desperately clinging to the idea that they've been told generally from the other side that it's unattractive and not adult-like to be a victim because you acknowledge certain things and certain historical facts, as you may have, to avoid even coming into contact with anything that could be misconstrued as them falling into quote-unquote victimhood. To acknowledge that point, that's what they would need to do, and they will never do that. I feel like there's so many more things that come along with, you know, exclusively dating white women than just, you know what I'm saying that, oh, it's my preference. You have to basically like change your whole life for that to be like your way of living. And that just sounds crazy to me. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's not dense to it in any way. He plays into it. I mean, sure, he may, but there's other people that do it and they don't know, like they're unaware. And if you tell them, hey, this might be a consequence or an effect of something that happened years before you were even born, hundreds of years even so, to avoid falling into that victimhood that they've been told that it's unattractive or they can't fall into or lean into, to acknowledge certain historical facts, they'll be like, nah, it's all my choice. I just like the white women that much, or I just like the white men that much. Like, I'm not saying you can't genuinely like them either, but there's sometimes you see certain ideologies fall within these groups, and it's like, oh yeah, well now I know why you think the way you think, or why you feel the way you feel.
For example, RG3 specifically.
It took me 1 day, or 1 or 2 days, I think. Maybe it might have been a few weeks of working one job when I was like 16 or 17 years old. Before my coworker, who wasn't white, I forgot he was brown. I forgot what like ethnic group he belonged to. But it took only a couple conversations with him to fall into the narrative that, yeah, like black people are acting like victims for real. Like, it only took a couple seconds. And we worked in a majority white office space, or not office space, but generally white, like, workspace. And I was thinking to myself, like, I feel like you didn't come to that realization or that conclusion, like, by yourself. Like, somebody was, like, actively telling you that they don't like to be around this type of brown person, and so to be socially accepted in this space, you conform to whatever ideas that they had, and you just felt like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna just go with that narrative because I don't talk to enough people of my own demographic, and this is basically what I've been forced to work with, so I'm gonna adopt this ideology. I'm gonna go here, you know? So when it was presented to me, I'm like, that sounds kind of insane. Like, he never let off of it. He was hardcore Trump against Hillary in 2016, whenever that was. I just remember how hard he was going. It's just insane, man. It's a lot of people that are like that, not just even in the black space.
He was an army brat, so he likely never got overly settled in a community of any sort for most of his life. And I know enough military kids to know that their parents can sometimes be a specific type of toxic and make specific decisions with their children, with their black children. That
it would have been a real short convos around that workspace. We never got along, but it wasn't even because of the anti-black thought. He was just kind of a loser. I could feel like, you know how you could feel somebody trying to be somebody that they're not, and it's just like not a natural flow. Like, he never came off like he was just like regular, like a dude just doing his own shit, feeling the way he feel. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? I never felt that from him, and I think everybody else didn't feel that either. So it's like you did all this to fit in with this space, and then nobody respects you for it at the end of the day. It's really, really weird. On the other hand, there was a lot of shit that workplace didn't understand about me either, that I wasn't willing to explain. And not to make it seem like I'm a tough guy or nothing like that, but they generally were often afraid to talk to me a lot of the time. And I felt not like empowered by that, but I felt like, yeah, nigga, you gotta walk around on eggshells because you better not say nothing that I don't like, for the most part. But I felt like that taught me that a lot of what they thought wasn't necessarily like malicious, but it was just like a lot of it was from a place of ignorance to a degree. But yeah, I felt like in a lot of those spaces, it's kind of determined by what it is that they think that they can get away with, you know? And if you let them feel like they can get away with anything, that they're gonna try it, like, no matter what.
Maybe aren't the wisest decisions. I think it's unlikely that RG3 was ever in a majority black space for much of his life, and if he was probably very ostracized from those spaces because he would never have had the opportunity to learn the mores and tropes and norms of a black space, which can be very complicated. And to be fair, black people can be very rigid and unforgiving about how you conduct yourself when you're in a black space.
This is 100% true. And I feel like this is a part of the issue when it came to that whole I was an anime head, but I was bullied for watching anime. Like, that's not what happened, bro. But I do still sympathize with the idea that, like, there might be a couple cultural references that you weren't privy to or didn't bother to learn when you were trying to socialize. And they weren't probably also kind in their explanation of, which caused a bit of conflict. But it's not because, you know, you liked a particular thing. It's because you didn't have the social skills to interact because you were just into this thing. So when it came time to, like, actually be a regular everyday human and not just have anime references in your head to go to, some people might have thought, you know, that's a little awkward. And that's not something that only exclusively happened in black spaces. Like, people of other cultures had that same experience. So I just thought it was, I always think it's funny whenever I hear that I was bullied or I was ostracized for this particular reason, when that's not the case at all. Niggas was running down the hall Naruto style talking about nobody liked him, so you were weird. But we used to do that though. Like Dragon Ball Z was a cultural thing. It was not even an Asian thing after a certain point. It was just an American born, everybody consumes this. And I guess it was so heavily consumed that it wasn't looked at as anime, same way as Pokemon, for example. But we all liked it. That's not something that you could just be like, oh yeah, it's because of that and that's the reason. Granted, most people didn't take it beyond those couple anime and they just kept it to where it was. It was kind of like a rites of passage like NBA 2K and Call of Duty was after a certain point in time. But still, that just wasn't the reason. That was never the reason. DBZ is just one of those things, 100%. Some things transcend race, yes. I was mainly bullied in middle school, but in high school, no one gave a fuck. But I was saying that, like, we all had those references. We all had different weird things that we were into. Nobody was bullied for their interests. Not to say it can't happen, but that just wasn't the nature of things. And bullying in my era, I would have assumed to have been way worse. But I can't compare it to bullying now. I can't tell a 12-year-old, you know what I'm saying, that has access to TikToks that might go wrong, and then his whole school, like, is on his dick about something. I couldn't be like, nah, that's not really bullying for real. Just turn off your phone. Like, I can't say that.
Very quick to push you out of that space because you might be perceived as a liability or a threat. Say all this to say that RG3's experience among black people might have been a traumatic experience. But I want to be clear, this is not unique to him. This is something that a lot of black folks have, and they get over it. They figure things out, they move on.
They do. They dead do. It's often because the person was an asshole or did not interact with others well. I didn't see a lot of it or bullying unless it was anonymous. Yeah, I mean, it's just... I feel like most people aren't allowing that to turn them into supervillains. Like, for it to manifest in the way that it is about this RJ guy, most people are going to end up letting it go. But clearly it's a lot of people who don't. Being weird definitely made it worse. People made fun of me in middle school because I was a big girl. I could understand that. Body shaming in middle school and in high school is completely different. I completely understand people that were ostracized or shamed or praised for certain body types or not in school. That makes sense. But the whole, they shoved me in a locker, gave me a swirly, they put the fucking broomstick up my ass when I was, in middle school because I watched too much Naruto. Stop it, bro.
And some become Candace Owens or the guys from Fresh and Fit. One thing you'll always hear from many black conservatives, if you listen closely, is how they have resentment for black people and for black culture, for rejecting them for being different or not conforming to what a black person is supposed to be, which is usually code for black men or black women didn't like me, so now I hate them. I'm going to try to make money by making them look bad. And if you're willing to subject yourself to certain daily abuses and not defend yourself against microaggressions.
Why you always say to the extreme? Oh shit, Hodge twins. Why you always say to the extreme? That wasn't even extreme.
Or even if you want to be a white knight to come defend your white friends from black people who are accusing them of being racist.
Yo, this is the saddest thing I've ever seen. I thought when I was a kid and I was seeing Hodge twins, bro, oh my God. Everybody I knew was like, oh shit, these niggas is just on some stupid shit and they're funny and they big. I think the fact that they were just big and buff dudes too just made it even funnier. Like they're airheads up here, so it's like nobody taking what they saying serious. They do these like advice videos and it'd be like these completely made up scenarios where this guy would send an email talking about how badly he wanted to fuck his sister on some dumb shit, and it was just the dumbest videos and they were so much fun. They were funny. You know what I'm saying? Over time, obviously, you're not going to be interested in the exact same thing, but to have like a staple, you got to understand, I got fasting from these two. You understand what that means? Like, they actually provided what I felt to be decent advice for a lot of people, especially in the workout space when there weren't a ton of workout like gurus on the net in like the early 2010s, mid 2010s era when they were like at their humorous peaks. You know what I'm saying? And then to be found out like just only like not even a decade later, oh shit, we're grifting, we're demeaning like all these black folks now just because we think it'll get us an in with the white folks because the conservative ag is just so much more easy. Like, holy shit, that shit killed me. I'm like, dog, really?
those white folks will accept you if you play that role.
And it's not even that I feel like it's genuine. You could tell when the role is being played. You get what I'm saying? It's one thing to have an opinion from someone that's like, oh, that's disappointing that you feel that way, but I know you're not playing it to a certain side because you know there's a benefit. Like, these niggas fully leaned into the grift. Fully. Like, 100%.
And they may even sometimes have your back and extend to you the community that you feel like you're missing. And within those communities, you may not understand that your haircut is really bad, at least by black people's standards. And if you have, I don't know, military parents or parents who are averse to black culture, the type of parents that might move their kids away from all black people and put them into an all white space, they may not know that whatever the fuck this was for RG3 should not exist.
Okay, how old is RG3 though? Because if he's 50 years old, this picture makes sense. Y'all all look like this back then in like the 1980s, 1970s and shit. Or wherever the fuck this Jerry curl shit was. There's no way he's 35. Why does he look like Michael Jackson? There's no way cuz it's 35. Ain't no way. You grew up during the almost prime eras of the hip hop years, bro. You was around when Pac and them was out. Like, you didn't need to have this style at all. Well, actually, the 80s, right? No. Let's back up. They had these during the 80s. He was a child, though. I'm trying to afford some great. When was this pic? Nah, he was about 17 years old, at least in this photo, right? At least like 17 to 20. If he's 35, you were not wearing this in the mid 2000s. There's no way. You were not wearing this when Soulja Boy was making music. There is no fucking way. Everybody that I know had the Evan Ross. By 2005, everybody I know had the Evan Ross. There's no way you was rocking your shit like this. You either had the T.I., the Evan Ross, the Lil Wayne. There's no way this was it. There's no way. There's no way he's 30. There's no way, bro. There's no way that's real, bro. There's no way that's real, man.
Look at this nigga's hair. This is how he went to college. If you look like this in front of black people, you might get roasted.
No. You know what's crazy, bro? Even white people will look at you crazy for this. Because why? It's not that white people have a space to talk about black hair. It's just that it's 2007. They gonna look at this and be like, that don't seem right. Why are you doing this?
It just might happen. And that might not be fun, right? Clearly. If you look like this in front of white people, they don't know.
That's not true. I guarantee you this generation of white folks will fry you for a fucked up hairline. Well, they would probably fry anybody. But, like, they could probably tell what fucked up dreads look like, I feel like. Like, low-key. Dreads, a sky-top warrior. Like, none of that shit fly no more.
They have no idea whether or not this is a good black haircut or not.
They fry anyone who isn't white, let's be real. No, they be frying each other too. I remember it wasn't a conversation, but I overheard two white people yelling at each other, throwing the N-word at one another. And I was like, damn, we really fought for this. I really thought for a second, like, I looked over and I'm like, yo, that's two white niggas. And I thought to myself, can I even be mad at this conversation? Like, they was dead, like, upset with one another. I'm like, damn, this is crazy. Can you believe these niggas? That's crazy. It is what it is.
You think all our hair looks bad, or
they was wiggers? No, that's the crazy part. They didn't have like a black scent or nothing. They just was throwing it out there to one another, like hating on each other, mad crazy. I'm like, what the fuck going on?
Interesting, which is why they want to touch it. Just a whole other set of fucking problems. So you could look like an escaped slave or have a hard...
All right, relax. See what I'm saying? See, this is what, see?
stringy synthetic wig and walk up to your favorite white guy or white girl, and they won't think you're ridiculous. They'll accept you. You know, that's what the term hard wig, soft life comes from, but I'm getting into the weeds. So what I'm saying is, I imagine for a kid like RG3, who clearly never learned to get his hair done by black people up until recently, he probably got made fun of for looking like this. And you can tell he wears that resentment in the way he engages with not just his blackness, but blackness around him. And that pathology is like, it's something that happens all the time. It's wrong, but it makes sense when you think about it. The point I'm trying to get at here is that anti-blackness is deep and is part of a complex system of conditioning that all of us are subject to and interacting with in some way, which means even though we are the ones of the interior, it's still partly our responsibility to address this. Shout out my homie Bellamy, who once said something like, it's not just a problem that some people are, it's that we live in a system that encourages behavior. Because understand, there aren't just black, Indian, Mexican, LGBTQ, and so on. And all of them tend to find ways to present themselves to the white world as less threatening and more worthy of being accepted, often through their aesthetic. And much like RG3, the goal of this is for them to show their asses in
Is that a slur now? It is, I think.
ways where you know.
Well, it's not a slur, but it's, you know, TOS and against any, like a lot of website term of service and shit, yes.
Where they
definitely not a slur though.
Stand on those issues. But I will say the solution isn't just to chastise. At some point, you need to try to pull folks in, give them a safe place to heal from the harm they subject themselves to. But that's not everyone's job. Not everyone's good at it. And I know from experience, it doesn't always work, but that's maybe something for later. If you're new to my content, this may be the first time you hear that I have a background in sociology. And one thing I realized in my graduate studies is that the weird byproduct of so much of academia, even in race scholarship being white ran and white centered, is that the subject is always everyone else but them. Like, one thing I wonder is how RG3's wife feels about his weird fetishization of her whiteness. Does she even realize it's weird?
Well, of course, if she does or if she doesn't, you can't be married to somebody like this long. Like, see, when people look at this relationship, they'll look at him as if he's the weirdo, which he is, but then you got to look at her too and be like, why haven't you left? And it's the same thing with when it comes to like black men who get fetishized. It's like, why would you ever want to be in a relationship with someone who only values you based off the color of your skin, or like the stereotypes that you fit into that they may or may not be attracted to? Like, to actively participate in that relationship means that you're okay with it and you don't give a fuck. And that's something that people have to acknowledge. It's not like she's just at the house just being white, being appreciated. Like, no, you know what's going on.
I doubt it, but to be honest, I don't know.
They might not recognize it. If it's being brought up regularly, like, nobody had to tell me what fetishization meant. If fetishizing, oh my God, I'm pretty sure I fucked it up. Like times two, maybe, I don't know. Regardless, nobody had to tell me what that meant, because it was always weird anytime someone seemed enamored by certain features, like hair, for example. Anybody that was wanting to touch my hair, it's like, what do you want to do that for? That's weird to me. You know what I mean? Anybody that has something to say about my skin color or whatever the case is. Like, there's nothing wrong with giving somebody a compliment, but you could tell who's like valuing it in different ways, or who's looking at it as like, oh, that looks good aesthetically. I like the way it looks, and that's it. I feel like you can very easily tell the difference. What's the difference between fetishizing or just having certain features you're more attracted to? Well, I feel like that's the difference. If you just are attracted to certain features more, I feel like you could find those features on plenty of people. Like, full lips isn't something that's limited to black people. You could find some white folks with full lips. You could find some people of other cultures with full lips. Just in the same way you could find certain people with thicker hair. You could find certain people with bigger eyes. You could find certain people with a higher chance or a lower chance of colored eyes or not. You could find certain people with darker skin. To limit it to just be like, oh yeah, I find this attribute only in this particular group of people and no one else, I feel like that's just a little bit odd to me. I feel like it's a little bit odd. But there's nothing wrong with having features that you're attracted to. Like, everybody is into their own thing, I feel like. People be out there fetishizing bald heads, bro. I don't know if bald head is like a fetish, though. I feel like it either looks good or it doesn't. I don't know. Yeah, because it's kind of objectifying. Attributes are not as weird as vaguely saying I'm attracted to this race specifically. Yeah, I've never liked when people did that. I never like I would never say I only talk to, or I only, I just feel like it's odd and so limiting. If somebody asks you what your type is, you just be like, oh, okay, I like, it sounds corny, but I like beautiful girls or like good looking women. Like, what else can I say? I'm supposed to be like, oh, they're only found within this group? Like, what do I do with that? Doctor saying I wish I can get my hair like that is odd. Sometimes. I could agree with that. A lot of people say they won't date white women. That's because a lot of people are afraid of social ostracization. They don't realize that there's a balance and a fine line between saying I would talk to white women versus I only talk to white women or I only date white women. They think that those things mean the same thing. So they try to pretend in their mind like, oh yeah, I've never looked at a white woman or anyone that, could be white passing and said, oh my gosh, she looks good. Because they're trying to fit within a certain demographic. Like, it's completely thrown out level-headedness from the conversation. Like, a black girl couldn't just be like, oh, I find, I don't know, Travis Kelce attractive or something like that. And not be, like, a quote-unquote raccoon for it. I linked with this one girl one time, and she told me I was the perfect amount of brown. Oh, yeah, see, that's... See, that's where it go crazy. That's where you lose them. Perfect amount of brown is insane. But see, when you notice, then it's your job. You know what I'm saying? Once you notice, you're like, all right, this ain't for me. I'm not even into this. I don't know what you're talking about. Let me bag back. I'm not expecting you to punch her in the face and then shove a bunch of quarters in her ear. You know what I'm saying? Make her go, I don't know. I'm just saying that when you see shit, you got to address it,
These are the types of questions that tend to go unasked because whenever we talk about racism, it's paradoxically white-centered.
She said, thank God you're not that dark.
Meaning that everyone else involved in the conversation is the subject and they get to remain objective. This is one of the reasons why I made my short documentary, Talking to White People, where I actually asked explicit questions to white people about the reality and nature of whiteness as it pertains to race, and how whiteness being invisible in the conversation about race is actually a huge problem. If this sounds like something interesting to you, sadly, you won't be able to see it here.
That's great bait. I think this conversation would probably go over way better with less informed white people. Because the average, I don't typically come across like a Hasanabi, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to their version of what they think whiteness is or white passing. You get what I'm saying? Noah Sampson, same thing. Like there's not the typical white person. That's like the average person that you're gonna see come across when you doing your day to day. Anyone with a mullet is the biggest of 25 needs to be tortured. Not gonna lie. What's wrong with mullets? I actually fuck with mullets. I actually don't. I don't know why I lied and said that. I tried to, but you get what I'm saying. Mullets are ass? I don't think they're ass. I kind of fuck with the mullet dude.
Or on any of my other YouTube channels, you'll only be able to find it on Nebula. In case you didn't know, Nebula is the independent streaming platform that has had my back on YouTube for years now. They've been a huge support for me building this channel, building my numerous channels. And it's not just me, it's a ton of other creators with similar levels of intellect, experience, creativity, and forward thinking. I'd argue that we're probably some of the best people on the platform in general. And because we're so good, Nebula has actually transformed itself from being just a space where we get to put our stuff to being an independent media studio. A lot of us are behind the scenes working and developing full-fledged documentary series like Tom Nicholas's documentary Boomers, which looks at the effect of an aging population on the world, as well as other people with short...
What the fuck was I just... You know what?
Films, travel series, even cinematic podcasts. And so it's not just my original, it's so many more things that you can get when you sign up for Nebula. My ultimate goal is to turn Talking to White People into something bigger and more depth, maybe even a full-on series. I had a lot of fun with this short version, but there's way more to engage with here, but I can only do it if you support me on Nebula.
Do I listen to the Joe Budden podcast? No. I used to, like, maybe 5 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago, I say.
Nebula is not owned by Google or any other big tech company. Everything we make is produced in-house and funded directly through support from viewers. This is why you're seeing this ad, because we need you to continue to help us make our creations come to life. So if you want to do that, follow the link in the description or follow the QR code on the screen. You can sign up for a full year of Nebula for 40% off. You'll be supporting the growth not just of my channel, but creators like me to continue to go beyond the limitations of YouTube and modern media as a whole.
Y'all go fuck with Nebula. One day I'm gonna look into Nebula. That's the black shit. You know, that's the shit that we don't. Y'all see that I hate when niggas do that, cause that mean you not gonna do it. Like we need to be called out on shit like this, bro. Y'all be openly lying and you don't even need to do it. That's what's crazy, man. Another lie. No, that's what I be saying when I be going. When I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it, and then I don't have any plan on doing it. Like, that's what's crazy. Shadow Darkheart with the 14 too. I appreciate you. Like, come on, bro. We gotta do better. I do know your body. Actually, I don't. I need to examine all of y'all individually. But I can't say raccoon. You could, bro. You could say raccoon as much as you want. Did you watch the Anthony Fantano vid? No. What vid? Nebula has a lot of cool shit, but I don't feel like putting in paying information. I feel that. Happy to see you streaming despite not getting, bro. Come on, man. We doing and saying anything at this point. Dr. Joker, I appreciate you with the 22. He made a video about Cuddy not snitching. I might have saw a clip of it on Twitter. I feel like I know what you're talking about already. Oh, on Tory. What do you mean, oh, on Tory? What do you mean? Sean, make I can't see what that word says. Did you say, is that say petition? I can't see it from this angle. An agreement to bring Boondock season 5 out. You know what's so crazy? I had Riley and I had Huey's hairstyle throughout my entire life. Holy shit, bro. Like, I really, like, you know what they did with Lindsay Lohan in that one movie where she pretended to be two of herself? Like, I really could have been that for the Boondocks. I wasn't even peeping. I wasn't even peeping, bro. Why are you question marking if I had cornrows? Nigga, that was my style all the way up until I was 10 to 11 years old. Yes, Parent Trap. I had my hair all the way down here on my back, bro. Look, when braids are done well, they look beautiful. They really do. But the same can be said for any style. I've never heard Lindsay Lohan's name pronounced like that. I always say Lohan. Full comic book of the Boondocks. Okay, hold on. Let me look at the Tory shit. I was supposed to look at the other Tory shit from before, but I didn't get a chance to earlier in stream. Hold on, let me see. Hold on, let me see. Hold on, let me see. I'm sorry, excuse me. I could be a fan in the mosh pit and Cardi could literally pour anything in my mouth. I will be honest with you.